What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What's going on, America? Boys and girls, ladies and gents, it's the Brooklyn Beards and Ball Sports Show. It is the divisional round of the NFL playoffs, and we're here to talk about all the stuff that's going on. Again, we're going to talk about that deplorable performance in some way, shape, or form about them Dallas Cowboys. But before we even get into all of that, we got Niners to talk about. Y'all could just say it with me. It's still Don's world. We just trying to get it nut. That's how it works. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Pause on that. But nevertheless, my man SKRAPP is in the building. Don is in the building. It's Brooklyn Bears and Ball. So it's what we do. It's how we get down. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. But before we get into it, we need you to like, to share, to subscribe, YouTube, Facebook. Y'all need to continue to show that love like y'all been showing. We really do appreciate it. It's been much interaction. People jumping on, people talking, because we got a lot to talk about, and you know how it goes with the sports thing. So listen, man, we in the building. SKRAPP and I, we got our counseling sessions, you know what I'm saying? Well, I was actually here for mine. SKRAPP might get a little bit more today, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, we're going to talk about them Eagles. We're going to talk about them Cowboys. We see James is in the building. So, Don, SKRAPP, what's good with you fellas? What's going on, man?
Well, listen, this is what we've been waiting for, man. Listen. I think a executive from the Raiders, I forget what her name was. She was mentioning something about the quarterbacks that are left. There's 8 great quarterbacks. No, there's 8 total quarterbacks. 7, I think she said terrific. First of all, why are you saying terrific with football anyway, right? 7 terrific quarterbacks and then Brock Purdy. So I am hopeful that after today, people are going to put some respect. And I don't think people may never put respect on it, but I think it's going to be something that he's going to have a game. He's going to have a terrific. He's going to have a terrific game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. I kind of hope y'all beat the brakes off them boys today, which only show what Dallas, how inept we are. But nevertheless, all right. I'm good. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. D. I'm gonna what man. Okay. And I'm interest in these games we're going to talk about, because it's about the divisional round playoffs. You know what I'm saying? And
absolutely.
And yeah, that's what it's about. You know what I'm trying to say? And yeah, you know, Dallas don't know nothing about that. We're usually not here. We're not here anyway, so it don't matter. But go ahead. It's all
right. Anything, SKRAPP? Without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, divisional round. I mean, listen, there are only 8 teams left, right? So now first of all, we have to really think how fast this season went. It flew by. I mean, it's like, you know, Super Bowl is less than a month away. And then our focus will shift to the NBA. Shout out to the Brooklyn Nets, who blew out the Lakers. And you know what? I shouldn't have said that.
I knew you was going to get it in. I knew you was going to get it in. I knew it.
I told the guys we didn't have to bring it up, but it just flowed. It just came off the tongue.
You couldn't help yourself. You could not help yourself.
And it was at crypto. I mean, just for the people that don't know, I mean, it was at crypto. The Lakers started well, and they had a good lead, and I think they were up at halftime, and then third quarter, it was just, I don't know, but
yeah. It was just a bad performance in the second half. Couldn't get nothing done. Yeah. It was bad.
And that was LeBron did play, right?
Yeah, LeBron played. Everybody played.
He had a pretty good game too.
Yeah, he did.
And Anthony Davis played, right? I just want to make sure all of the
He's top, to the bear early. Yes,
top
all the
players were there.
And you know what the sad part is? AD is playing out of his brain this year, and it's all for naught. We can't even get wins, but these great performances and numbers he's putting up. It's really sad, but it is what it is.
I shouldn't even went there. I'm actually sorry.
Well, the season don't start till after the All-Star break anyway, so it's plenty of time.
Exactly, SKRAPP. Got to wait till after the All-Star break, the trade deadline, and we see what we're working with. You know what I'm saying?
The 76ers must have lost recently, is why he's saying that. Did you guys lose recently?
No.
You did beat Denver, right? You beat Denver, right?
Yeah, Embiid served up Jokic another 40 burger. Another one, you know, but it holds no weight because he didn't do it in Denver. It's like, okay, you beat me up in your backyard, now come beat me up in my backyard. Like, I don't know what else the Nugget fans wants to see from that matchup. So Whatever. Yeah, we won last night. It was like a hockey game for Embiid. He only played 3 periods.
Nice.
Yeah, he sat out the whole fourth. Finished with 36. He averages more points than minutes, but that's neither here nor there. It's still football season.
That's nice.
It's still football season, man. It's still football season.
It's still football season, right?
Yeah, it's still football.
All right,
season.
so yeah. All right, it's still football season. I got it. It's still football season.
I can go on for days about the brilliance of that man, but still football season.
All right, you guys, remember this, because when it's basketball season and we're starting to talk about now in the pecking order, just so we're clear, right? The Brooklyn Nets compared to the 76ers and the Lakers, we're gonna be, bottom of the totem pole in conversation, but we'll see what happens.
We've all been there. We've all been there.
You still got KD. You can still talk about KD though.
Listen, okay, no problem. That's fair. I mean,
just to give you some context to bring to the table.
Always, and Kyrie for that matter, and James Harden. I mean, they're all part of the family, man.
You're all part of the family. The whole part of the
You're only a visitor once.
You're
only a visitor once. After that, you're part of the family, right? So let's talk about the first game, right? The Texans versus the Ravens. Baltimore is a 9.5-point favorite. Over under is 43.5. Now, the Ravens have had time off, right? This is, the argument always is rest over rust, right? So now you're dealing with, is a team too rested, right? That usually benefits older teams that need to get healthy at the right time. So now you're thinking, okay, we know how Lamar Jackson has been in the regular season. He's amazing. He's going to have this is going to be his second MVP, but he falls short in the playoffs, right? Yep. So now the question is, they have beaten, I think, 5 or 6 playoff teams. So they've dominated pretty much. They look like the Eagles of last year, right? Dominated straight through the regular season. Mm-hmm. So now we're at the point where they're playing a very young team. Texans, CJ Stroud, rookie quarterback. The coach is first-year coach. D'Amico Ryan's doing an amazing job. They completely dismantled the Browns last week, right? And we thought the Browns, who had top 5, top 3 defense, and they had the veteran leadership of Flacco, that they were going to be able to really compete. And they got blown out. The game was really over in the second half. Now we're moving forward. The Ravens, we know Baltimore is a very tough place to play. CJ Stroud, they always say sometimes when a team is so young, they don't know what they don't know, right? They're just playing. They have nothing to lose, and it's house money, pretty much. Exactly.
Facts.
I think that the Texans, if they, once again, coming from the 49ers tree, if the Texans play a game that is smart, they have a legitimate shot of beating the Ravens. I would think that they need to establish a lead. By the way, Cook, who was on the Jets, is now on the active roster. So they have now another running back because, they've over the last couple of years have had some really, really bad luck as it pertains to running backs. Dobbins and then their running back that they picked up that was, really, really good. I forget his name. He got hurt last week. So I think this is going to be a really good game. It's going to be more competitive than people think. I do think ultimately the Ravens will win the game. But what do you guys say?
Well, you want to go right?
Yeah, I'll jump in real quick. Actually, seeing this team last week, the Houston Texans, I have to say I was very, very impressed. With their poise, their execution just seems so flawless, and just the adjustments that they made to a veteran quarterback, like Flacco, who has thrown his share of interceptions, even though he has played well and he was able to get Cleveland obviously into the playoffs. And shout out again to the Browns, considering all things. You just put their season in context. You still have to give Stefanski a lot of credit. 4 starting quarterbacks in 1 year. And still able to get them into the playoffs. But again, we all picked the Browns last week. And the Texans look really good. And CJ Stroud.
No. I didn't pick. No, I didn't pick the
Oh, you didn't
Browns.
pick them? You picked Houston last week?
Yeah, don't try to group me into that. I picked
Right.
the winning team.
Okay,
We all picked the Cowboys last week.
You've been pretty solid on your picks this year too. So
I didn't pick the Cowboys last week, but okay.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole other thing right there.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean sorry.
No, that's all right. That's all right.
Yeah, he didn't pick the Cowboys.
It's all good, man. It's all good. That's what all of this is about, right? You pick a team and either they win or lose, and
right, and you come talk about it.
But yeah, man, it's bad. But as far as this game goes, look, I feel like you just said, D. I'll say this quickly. Playing with house money, as Scrap said, I actually like Houston in this game because I think that there's a lot of pressure. I think Baltimore will win, but I think they got to still be careful. I'm actually, just for the fun of it, I'm going to pick Houston to win the game. I know we'll get to our scores later, but I think that there's pressure on Lamar. I feel like Lamar is the glorified version of Dak to some degree at this point in his career. Got the accolades, MVP. We know how amazing of a quarterback he is. He's one of the elite ones right now in the game. But this is where it all counts, right? And you got a home game here. And this is a young team coming off a very impressive win at home. And they're in their first time being in the playoffs with their young quarterback, who's, obviously a rookie. And I think McDonald, their defensive coordinator for the Ravens, is definitely going to, it's a whole nother thing because Cleveland doesn't play well defensively on the road. So, there was some issues there with them on the road with their defense. But I think McDonald is going to definitely try to do some things to try to confuse him. But this is where I think you got a good OC. And when you have a good OC with Houston and what's his name, Slotnick or Slovic or whatever it is, I can't remember, but it's Slovic, I believe it is. He's going to help him try to see a little bit of what he's looking at. And then, like you said, if they play smart, play wise, I think they'll be able to don't try to match them on their level. Just play your game, get what you can get and move. But I think it's about the adjustments in there because, there's some teams that just don't have, coaches and OCs that can help them see what's on the field, that can be able to show guys what they're looking at when they're, especially, when if you're ill prepared, you won't know anyway, but you can't see because you don't have a coach that can tell you what's going on and how to make some in-game adjustments. But there's just some teams that just don't do that. They don't know how to do that because they just don't understand, just the basic things of football. You know what I'm saying? But when you have good teams that understand how to show a quarterback or even an 8-year quarterback who
you okay?
Okay.
He's relapsing. He's relapsing.
I'm telling you, Mayday. Listen, I thought we got. Yeah, he is. You okay? Woosah, brother.
Yeah.
The Cowboys. Listen, we're going to talk about the Cowboys because
I know
that you're. Listen,
you got to get the rest of it out.
Rod is allegedly on Cowboy strike, right? He doesn't want to talk about the Cowboys. Listen. I don't know if the sombrero is still up on the wall. It probably is.
I see a hat behind him.
Right.
I see a hat.
Listen, he as much as he says he's
not.
It's short-lived, right? He's saying this. He says he's done with the Cowboys, but just like anything else, there might be one acquisition that's made in the offseason that pumps the life right back into the Cowboy fans, and they will be right back at it. We them boys. This is our year.
Even with getting Diggs back next year, you're not excited?
Not excited.
Right.
It's coming up. Yeah, we don't know. Diggs probably might not be back to good form until week 9. He may be a Pollard, as far as we know. We don't know. He coming back over ACL injury. It's going to take time.
Wow.
We don't know.
Ooh.
I'm telling you, man.
But you got Micah. Don't worry about it. You got the second coming of LT, right? That's what you guys don't have to worry about it.
Man, listen, don't
all right, so we'll I just want to keep the fire burning in your belly until we get to Cowboys debauchery.
You're going to make him turn red today. He's going to turn as red as your shirt.
You're going to see a lot of veins today. You might see a lot of veins today. It could go there. You're
going to see that San Andreas fault right down the middle.
Yo, Scrap, I miss you, man. We missed you last show, too.
Yeah, definitely.
Scrap always got the bars, man. He got the bars, man.
So what you got to say, Scrap? What you think, man?
With this game, I think this is a chance for, like Rod said, this is big for Lamar, for him to get that label off of him as the guy that can't win the big one to get over the hump, so to speak. So I wouldn't compare him to Dak. I'd probably compare him to more like Michael Vick. Okay, all the tools, but he just can't win the big game. Because I don't think Lamar ever been past this round. Has he? He never made it to the conference championship, right?
No, he hasn't.
Yeah, so this is normally where he gets off,
1-3 overall.
Yeah, so this is his chance to, pad his stat with another MVP, which is, after one, he's like, all right, you did that already. Show us what else you can do. So he has. I feel like he has to win this game, and like Don said, all the pressure is on the Ravens. I don't feel like there's no pressure on Houston at all, because like if they lose, they be like, oh well, we made it this far. But if they win, now Lamar gets another, strike against them, because they'll be 1-4 in the playoffs. So I do feel like if Houston can keep this game close, right, and I feel like it's gonna come down to the defense. Whatever quarterback makes the most mistakes is going to lose the game, because I don't feel like these two are like turnover prone quarterbacks. Stroud has been pretty good, this season. Like, he's clearly rookie of the year, and he's pacing the Texans. I'm sorry. He's pacing them marvelously right now with the with Collins and who was the other wide receiver? Dell, he's out. Dell is out. But no, him, Collins, and they got the old Cowboys tight end.
Noah Brown. I don't know if
Noah Brown and Dalton Schultz is the tight end. Yeah, and
Dalton
then Noah
Schultz,
Brown is the receiver. Yeah,
his receiver.
And they got serviceable running backs, but I think it's going to come down to the defenses, like which defense, because I think that on the offensive side they could pretty much match position for position with the Ravens, because the Ravens don't have no stud wide receivers really. It's like they got Zay Flowers, who's okay. They got Aguilar, who can catch every third season, and
OBJ.
I think OBJ, yeah, but is he really still OBJ, or is he?
Yeah,
exactly. That's how. I mean, he's still him. I guess you got to feed him the ball and keep him happy. The running back situation is I feel like these teams are more even on offense than they're not. I mean, obviously the quarterback is I guess you tip that towards the Ravens, but do you really? Because this is Lamar's like Achilles heel, right? He can't get past this game. So I think it's going to come down to the defense. I think we can probably tip the defense to the Ravens, slightly in their favor, because their linebackers are crazy. Their secondary is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Humphreys missed to punch it out. Anytime you come to him with the ball, he's gonna punch it out. So yeah, it's gonna come down to takeaways. But I wouldn't mind. I feel like one of the number one seeds is not going to make it through the weekend. So hopefully it's not you guys, Don. But I feel like one of them are going to go down. But if I had to pick, I would say
my connection was bad. I didn't even hear that. I'm not even.
Okay, when you go back to do your cuts, your clips,
right.
I hope it's not. Yeah, I say I hope it's not y'all, but I feel like one of the number one seeds is not going to make it through the weekend, and it's probably going to be the Ravens. So, I mean, that's something to look at. But I think if the Texans can keep it close, they can actually steal this game late. And I'm telling you, it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be like a bad play that knocks them out of field goal range or something like that, and they're going to have to punt. And I'm telling you, if it comes down to one possession, I like the Texans in this.
Okay, so what I would say is this. I think Lamar,
James, that guy likely is good. James,
he is
likely is good.
They were trying to get
tight ends.
They were trying to get Andrews back, but he's not. He's not going to be prepared.
Maybe next week, right? Maybe next week. If they win.
No, based on what you're saying, it won't be next week because we are advancing. All right, so that whole one of the number one seeds is out of it. The upset,
I just feel like that.
Yeah, I mean, I expect that. I expect there to be some type of feelings of, but you don't want us necessarily to get bumped. What I'll say about this, I think the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, I think the Texans defense can prevent Lamar, hopefully, from running all over the place. Because remember, Lamar Jackson will have, he's an impactful player, but he only might have 200 yards passing. Right. But he may eat you up on the ground. And for the most part, for the most of the season, he hasn't really been using his legs. So I don't know if he's been holding out and waiting for this opportunity to really, in the playoffs, use that part of his game to expand. But I think the Texans can, because I have to have some faith in DeMeco Ryans having that defense ready. If they can somehow contain Lamar, and I think they can keep him as a pocket as much as possible, a pocket quarterback, that gives them an opportunity to win this game. But if Lamar's legs are going and then he can open up the pass, then it might be a long day for them. But
the more you get him to throw, the more there's a chance you might pick him off.
That's true. Because you can't let him, if you get him in, third and long, and you let him open up and he's able to, extend the drive with, a scramble or something for first down, that just at some point, even young defenses, and the Texans have a young defense, they drafted well, they'll even get tired, right? So, but we got to go for the scores. Once again, Baltimore is a 9.5 point favorite, over under 43.5. What do you say about the scores? What you got, Rod?
Well, I'm going to go with, since it's young quarterback season and the young quarterbacks are looking really, really good, in what will be considered superior teams, right? I'm going to continue to, go with the Shanahan tree, right? Can't go wrong with the Shanahan tree, right? 0-5 against.
Oh my God,
Shanahan.
Listen,
coaches. I'm sorry. Okay, Houston. I'm actually going with Houston, guys. I'm going with Houston. I mean, like I got nothing to lose, right? I mean, so why not, right?
That is a broken man right there. He is broken. Wow.
I got a score. Know what the score is going to be? It's going to be 48-16 with 6 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. That's what the score is going to be. How about that? 48-16. Houston. How about that? Yep, that's my score right there. Ultimate breakdown. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to say Ravens 38, Texans 41. I'm going with the Texans.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going with the Texans.
So this is two people going for the upset. Okay, someone has to balance the show out. I do have Baltimore winning this game. I have them winning 35-28. 35-28. So they'll win, but they won't cover.
Respect.
Now, let's go to this is the game. This is the game. All right, James, 27-21 Texans.
Okay.
Wow. So nobody believes in the Ravens? So you think that was all like
when James come back with the low blow, the only relevant team in Texas.
Wow.
Go ahead and kick Rod while he's down wide on.
We don't do that. We don't punch down to people now.
No,
I mean,
okay.
come on.
Okay, no, let him punch. It's all right. It's okay. I mean, it's what I
James, you're gonna regret that. Next year is their year. You're gonna regret it.
No, we gotta hold. Stop, James. Keep those punches up. Keep those punches up.
Yeah. Right. That's what. Yeah. Next year is their year. Remember that. Don't. Hey, listen. You're gonna regret it. Because Mike McCarthy says he has a winning culture.
I got to tell you, he has a championship culture.
He has a championship culture, just not a world championship culture.
Not a world champion. We can win the divisions, though. We can win divisions. Yeah, we're champions.
And he's a winner. He says that's what he's here for. He's here to win a Super Bowl. So
absolutely,
you're gonna bite those words. You're gonna bite those words, James.
Trust me.
Gonna eat them.
Trust me. Those words will age well, my friend. Those words will age very well. Trust me. You
will live to eat those words, James.
Okay.
So let's talk about this is the game of the games, right? Mm-hmm. Packers versus the 49ers. 49ers are 10-point favorites. Over under is 50.5 points. Now, let me just tell you this. Mike McCarthy last week was not aware. He was ill-prepared, as Rod has said, on his rants. If you've gotten a chance to see, I mean, really, I had to stop at part 2. I really could have, Rod gave enough material that I really could have did a 10-part clip of him with his rants on all of the Cowboys deficiencies, but we didn't do that. So we're talking about the 49ers. Kyle Shanahan said he watched the game, and at halftime, once he seen that the game must have been on the pick six, when the pick six happened, Kyle Shanahan said, no longer do I have to worry about the Cowboys, about trying to come up with a game plan for them. Let me come up with a game plan for the team that would eventually win, which would be the Green Bay Packers. I think Jordan Love has played phenomenal, right? He's looked really well, and he is honestly, them and the Bills have been the hottest teams in their respective conferences moving forward over the last 6 or 7 games, right? But playing an ill-prepared team, and a team allows you to work and play within your strengths is one thing. And of course, we've seen the result of that. Moving forward, I think that a balanced attack, number one, the Cowboys didn't give any type of balanced attack. Their run game was non-existent. Of course, you know that is completely opposite with the 49ers. We have an established run game, okay? So the Packers aren't going to be able to take that away. And if they choose to take that away, then we are going to annihilate them in the air, okay? With our, all of our receivers, our tight end. So I see this game being completely different. And this game for us, this win is actually going to serve as 2 wins. It will, first of all, put the Packers out of the playoffs. Thank you. We appreciate you. Thank you for coming. God bless you. And then we're going to also, for the Cowboy fans that feel, oh man, if we had just gotten to the Niners, or we would have had an opportunity to, maybe play them an NFC Championship game, or we would be, representing the conference in the Super Bowl. This will be as a double L, right? Because we're going to dismantle. I've already said it. We are going to dismantle the Packers. And I'll get to my score, but just so you know, it's going to be a blowout. We are going to blow them out. Kyle Shanahan started to prepare at halftime last week, okay? And we're rested. And with all the noise, all the chatter about Brock Purdy being the little engine that could, if you will, compared to the other quarterbacks, look at his playoff record compared to these big names that they think are so much better than Brock Purdy, okay? He's 2-1 in the playoffs, right? And Lamar Jackson 1-3, right? The only one that has a great record, obviously, is Mahomes, right? Allen doesn't have a great record, right?
Allen's 5-4, yeah.
So what I'm saying is that the experience factor, if you're not winning games, right, or if you underwhelm, I think a lot of people that are kind of discounting Brock Purdy and it's all based on draft. Now, granted, we have a stacked team, so that's not his fault. But does he work, and does he know how to maximize the offense? Absolutely. And I like us to really, really roll this week. What do you guys say?
Well, I'll just simply say that I got the 49ers really blowing this team out. And for the reasons in which you stated, Don, it's to show the Cowboys what they couldn't do. Because it seems like, Bosa and other guys in San Fran throughout the year, Debo, different ones, they've been taking their stabs at these teams that they feel like they can kind of match with the Niners, right? You got Bosa telling everybody how to beat the Eagles. You got people telling, Bosa and other guys telling everybody how to beat the Cowboys. And, you see Shanahan, and Shanahan really threw doo-doo on Dallas when he comes out. I mean, he didn't even need to say all that, right? Was that really necessary? I mean, he could have just said, we already, we started film, we started preparing, so, we'll be ready, yada, yada. He could have been real casual about that, but, he went into detail. Like, I was watching, like, the first 3 minutes of the game. By the time, the end of the second quarter came, then that was it. I just focused on Green Bay at that point. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, that was straight doo-doo on the Cowboys, right? And he knows what he's doing, but you can speak with that bravado, because you do know your team is better than everybody, at least in the NFC, right? And so that you can do that. And that's what you're going to see more of in this game. Because, again, when you prepare, right, a coach that knows how to do that will do that, right? I don't think Shanahan lets his guys get like a text break during practice and go say hello to your wife and your family. We're gonna have family day. Hey, Debo, bring in the kids. I want to meet your family. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have family day. Or Friday walkthrough, like 2 days before the game. We're gonna have, we're gonna just have brunch and we're gonna fellowship. With grandma. Say, coaches don't do that because Shanahan is not like a player's coach to that degree. Players love him; they'll play for him. But he also is an accountable coach, right? He holds guys accountable and he gets guys prepared so that they can perform and execute at the highest level because that's what coaches are supposed to do. And you'll see a lot of that tonight. You're going to see a lot of that. So, we'll sit back and we'll watch and we'll see what a real organization does and what real preparation looks like. And we'll see that tonight. So I got the Niners 95-16. Yeah.
Come on, listen, Ryan. Listen. This is getting crazy. Yo, listen. Last week not only took his will to be a Cowboys fan, it's taken his will. Yo, listen. Have you eaten today? Are you okay? This man don't want to do nothing anymore. Like, listen.
Snickers, man. He is not himself when he's hungry.
Oh my goodness. What's
what
going
difference
on?
does it make? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All we had to do was win 2 home games. 2. That's it. And then get us into the. All Cowboy fans wanted was to say, hey, let us go to Levi Stadium. We can get to an NFC championship. We can at least say Dak made it to a championship game. Cowboys finally get there after 28 years, and then we can lose to the 49ers. It's okay. We expected to lose to the 49ers. I told you at the beginning of the year, there was only one team. That's all. Just one D. That's it. It was the 49ers. And it was just to go there. And if we can lose, it's okay if we would have lost. They could have blown a break. I would have taken 240.
Told you, James.
I wouldn't mind. But just get to the conference championship. You couldn't do that.
Jacket.
You lost, and it wasn't even any pressure on that.
Straight jacket on that man.
7-seeded team, D. So what am I supposed to do? What kind of take am I going to give my team? What do you want me to say? You want to really dissect this game? Just something to dissect.
This is gold.
It's 100. It's 100-16. Guess what? Sam Darnold is going to play in the second quarter. That's how bad it's going to be. All right. You want to see Sam Darnold? You want to see what he looks like, what he can be come next year as a backup? Give him some reps. Well, that's what he's going to get in today's game. Okay, that's what's going to happen. That's all, D. That's all I got, man. I ain't got nothing to say. That's all I got. I'm not going to break this game. There's nothing to break down. Shanahan already took care to break that. He told you he was practicing. He was already studying film while the Cowboys were still playing. When Sack ran the ball back for the pick 6, he was already like, okay, next page, let's go. All right, guys, let's.
Oh my!
Okay, let's see what they're about. It's over, D. He knows his student. That's the student.
Right.
He's been owning them. He owned Green Bay when he had Aaron Rodgers. What a love.
Oh, right. Thank you. If you ever provide me with a laugh that I needed, you just did that. Oh my goodness, that was gold. D, we gotta clip that.
Oh, of course,
you gotta clip that.
I got to. And sometimes his rants, it can't because there's limitations on reels and stuff. You can only do 90 seconds, and you can do clips, longer clips, but people's attention span. You got to keep it short and sweet.
Oh,
but some of Rod's rants,
that will hold somebody's attention span right there. That was
he's drained.
That was yes.
He needs an IV at this point. Virtue. Yeah. He lost virtue.
See him just shut down after he was just like he shut down after
virtue was lost. I'm telling you. You okay, man?
Yeah, man.
Rod, listen, man. Listen.
Well, that's clearly a hard act to follow. So I'm gonna keep it regular. I see the 49ers rolling in this game. I don't see anything stopping them from doing pretty much any and everything they want to do. Now, I'm not going to give a score like Rod.
Yeah. Rod, you want to give a real score, man? Come on, Rod. Come on. 96. Now we know Scrapp's favorite number for his opponents is 17. So now everything is going to be 16.
So okay. 95-17. Will that work for you, Don? 95-17? Will that
broken,
work?
Man. He's
Can that
broken,
work for you, Don?
Man. Broken.
No, that's not even being a diehard Niners fan. That's not a realistic score. Okay. First of all, once we get that big of a lead, Sam Darnold's going to come in and they're just going to run the ball and run the clock out. It would never get to 95 anything. Okay. So I'll start off with the realistic score. I have the 49ers, of course, their success, putting up 30 points. That's not going to be a problem. I think we're going to win 38-21. 38-21.
Go back like 1 minute. When you was looking down, I said 38. I said that.
Oh, really?
I was gonna say 38-17.
Yeah.
I was gonna loan y'all my 17.
Oh, I appreciate it. And hey, that's 17. That's fine. I'm cool with the 17 too. I just think we're going to handle business, and Rod has it 3,000-12. So listen,
yo.
All right, let's go on to.
I wasn't expecting that.
I mean, and he's doing this with games that aren't, somewhat related, but not related to the Cowboys directly. Can you imagine? He potentially will have a Jimmy Johnson moment once we get to McCarthy staying as the head coach. All right, let's talk about Tampa Bay and the Lions, right? Detroit is 6.5 point favorites. Over under is 49.5. Now, my question to you guys is, they just came off of a very, very emotional win. Jared Goff got some get back to against the Rams. They, discarded him. They won the Super Bowl. Dan Campbell is was encouraging him. Yeah, you're good enough to play for Detroit. And so they got that W, right? But think about it. They barely won. They barely won and had, a play happen one way or the other. They could have lost that game. So are they on such an emotional high that this can be the upset? Now, this is not my upset of the week. I do have an upset of the week, and obviously it's the last game, Kansas City versus Bills. But no, actually, it's not an upset. Excuse me. I do have the Bills winning that game. But Tampa Bay, I think they're hot. Baker Mayfield has played himself into a contract. He has played himself into a contract. It is shown that he is given the opportunity now, and this is without a really good running game, right? They don't have a good running game. Their running back Rashad White is good, but he's more good as an extension of the run. Dump offs, he's able to do that, but it's just handing it off to him. They're not really a good running team. They've been able to do a lot of their winning in the pass game. Godwin, of course, Evans. So they have been doing really well that way. I think this is going to be, I would imagine, my peeps from Detroit, I'm imagining that the city has to be crazy now. After getting the proverbial monkey off their back, winning last week in such an emotional game, are they due for a letdown, or is Baker Mayfield's magical ride over, right? Because it could just boil down that, Baker, you played your way into a contract. Now, we know when he was in Cleveland, he made a ton of money. He had all those progressive commercials. He had the keys to, the dog pound, and he was all kind of stuff. And so sometimes this is his fourth team. That's why sometimes it takes a while for things to actually click. And he found an organization that it works. The head coach is a defensive coach, right? Todd Bowles. He's not really an offensive coach per se, but it's good enough. The defense has been playing really well, right? And so they're good against the run. And so it's might be strength against strength, because you can pass on Detroit, right? So Baker that's what they've been doing. And Tampa Bay is really good against the run, so they could probably slow down the run. And if they can apply pressure, this is my last point. If they can apply pressure to Jared Goff, he's going to be in trouble, because last week, no pressure, 21 for 21. With pressure, he was like 3 of 16 or something like that. He was not as good. And it's a drastic difference pressuring Goff to not pressuring him. So it should be a good game. right? It should be a good game, and it's good for Detroit because dealing with what they dealt with over the last couple of seasons, the disappointment, and of course the drought of not progressing in the playoffs. This is really good. Dan Campbell has really galvanized the troops to play at a high level. And for them, after it's all said and done, to really be the number 2 seed, sorry, Rod, they're the real number 2 seed. And they gave the number 2 seed to the Cowboys by the stupid play calling.
Yeah, they did.
And the Cowboys still fumbled it.
Yeah.
So for them to host 2 playoff games at home, I think that, everything has a way of coming full circle. What do you guys say?
I think that you can't really put too much stock into Baker's performance last week because it seemed like the key formula for a quarterback to play himself into a new contract is to simply play the Eagles. Look at Tyrod Taylor. He looked like the second coming of somebody, Warren Moon or somebody. Baker Mayfield last week looked like Joe Montana. Drew Lock looked like Elway on the last drive. I mean, like if you want a quarterback to play his way into a new contract, just play the Eagles. That defense is horrible. It got shown plenty of times. So I'm not gonna put too much stock into that game last week because had Mike Evans not dropped a couple balls, they probably would have scored like 3 more touchdowns. Like it is what it is. The defense is horrible. So what I'm gonna say is I think that the Lions are going to win convincingly today. So they will make a trip to the NFC Championship game, and Detroit is still going to be on fire. But what I don't buy into is the whole signing Barry for a day and giving him a ring. Absolutely not. That man retired 15 years ago. I can see if he just retired last year and it happened. No, absolutely not. We're not signing him to no one-day contract. He's not getting a ring unless he works in one of the offices. You don't do that. Like he's a former player.
He's still an ambassador.
Wait, who? I mean, what happened?
Barry Sanders. They talking about signing Barry Sanders. They talking about signing him to a contract like a day if they win the Super Bowl, so that he can get a ring. Yeah.
Barry Sanders has nothing to worry about. Has nothing to worry. Barry Sanders is not getting a ring. It basically is what you're saying is that's not going to happen. But if it were to happen, I think it wouldn't be a bad thing because just think what Barry has done. He is arguably, when you think about Detroit, you think about Barry Sanders, right? He's synonymous with Detroit. He's also an ambassador, right? So I think that it wouldn't be a terrible thing to do.
Well, if that's the case, sign him to a contract. And he got to get at least 10 carries in the Super Bowl. He got to do something other than wave with a suit on and a crazy hairline because
right.
Yeah, his hairline.
It's not about the Eagles this week, James, but I will say that they gotta get that whole defensive side of the ball a root canal. Everything we need some veneers on defense. Take all them old teeth out and get rid of everybody and bring and like at this point we got to start over because what I will say about that real quick is with the Eagles, I know we're going to talk about Sirianni later, but the only 2 people that's safe in the whole Eagles organization is Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman. They're the only ones that's safe like at this point because even though it's pretty much Howie's fault the defense ended up like that because instead of like investing in the CJGJs and the linebackers, the Kaiser Whites and who's the other kid, TJ Edwards, the ones that was actually making plays, he decided to reward and, keep the older players. Because God forbid we would have lost Bradbury, who was going to miss tackles and have, wide receivers catching 6-yard passes and running for touchdowns. Like, who would have did that? Bradbury was instrumental in helping the yak stat, yards after catch. He was instrumental in turning people up on yak. He was passing out yak.
Right.
Had everybody going crazy off that yak. But yeah, James, with the defense, I think anybody not named Hassan Reddick or Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, anybody not on the line, Sweat, anybody not up front, they pretty much gotta go. It's like if you want to see a fan base go crazy every week outside of the NovaCare, remember the guy was standing out there and he had the 2 trash cans and he put a Darius Slay jersey on one and a Bradbury one. He's going to be out there. He's going to be out with the whole trash can section because it's a Home Depot not too far from the stadium. So He's going to go buy like 11 trash cans and put them out there and have everybody's name on it. I'm telling you, it's going to get bad. It's going to get bad if they don't do. They got to do something about the defense.
Oh,
the offense was only able to hide that defense for what? 12 weeks. 11 weeks. We was 10-1. They was only able to hide them for that long, and then everything imploded. But yeah, I'm not gonna flip upside down like Rod did, because it don't matter what I did. I could jump off my roof right now and it still won't amount to a hill of beans of what Rod did. Like, that was just epic right there. But yeah, I've accepted it, and I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, the defense is horrible. The defensive coordinator is horrible, and I need people to stop coming online talking bad about Brian Johnson, our offensive coordinator. He did a masterful job. He did everything right, and if they keep it up, they're going to not get him hired by another team, but somebody's going to see this. Let him keep getting interviews and let him hopefully land a job, because he just interviewed with I believe it was the Panthers. He interviewed for the Panthers job. But what came out today was that the Bears reported that 5 teams reached out to him to see, what it would take to get that number 1 pick, and we were one of the teams. So I'm telling you right now, that face that Jeffrey Lurie made at the end of that game when they showed him in the booth, that is not a face of somebody who has a team full of players that are safe. It's going to be some changes, and
wow.
they earned it. They earned it.
Do. Yeah.
See, me, I'm a fanatic, but I support the name on the front of the jersey first, then the name on the back. So whatever we do, I'm for it. Like, nobody's off limits. Even our $250 million quarterback, nobody is off limits in this purge. So I'm here for it. And wherever we land, if we land back as a bottom feeder team, so be it. We'll build through the draft.
Wow, so you would be okay with them getting rid of Jalen Hurts and trading him?
If that's what they do, like, I can't go down there and say, "Oh, wait, Jeff, don't do it." Whatever they do.
I mean, for Caleb Williams, yeah, you would do that. But let's say you don't get Caleb Williams, right? Who would you be willing to trade? Take out, obviously, the quarterbacks that are off limits, right? Mahomes, Josh Allen, the top tier, Lamar Jackson. Who would you be willing and okay with the Eagles trading or getting rid of to replace Jalen Hurts? Because you kind of fall into I say this because you kind of fall into the Miami, Dallas kind of bucket where you need to change, but will the team be tough enough to swallow the pill to change? Now, I'll before I pass it back to you, I'll tell you this. Les Brown, famous motivational speaker.
Yeah.
If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, your life will be easy. So for the fan base accepting and starting over and resetting, because Rod clearly was saying, pay Dak the $60 million. He doesn't want to reset it, and or even with Tua. Tua is not the answer. And we seen after the game was all said and done, Tua started throwing his coach under the bus. We was ill prepared for the noise and all. And meanwhile, Tua, if everything is perfect, it works. But when adversity comes, what do you do when you have to face adversity? So these are the things you got to ask yourself. So the tough decision would be to fire Mike McCarthy and shut up and not do a whole bunch of interviews and get a coach in there that could to bring stability. It might be we got to get somebody else, get Tua out of there. Those are the tough decisions. But if you make those tough decisions, your life will be easier. Up front, it's hard, but it pays off down the line where it's a lot easier. It's easier to say, well, we still have a fan base. We still selling merchandise. We still doing this. We still doing that. We'll always make the playoffs, whether we're one and done or not. We'll be in the playoffs. We'll so who would you replace it with is long and short. Who would you be okay and think either coming out of college or a pro now, who would you be able to replace Jalen Hurts with and be comfortable?
Well, as far as replacing Hurts, I don't know if I would jump out the window that fast, because unlike Dak and Tua, you only had like a small sample size of him, and won more than he's lost. It's just the last couple losses were so horrible that you're like, this guy has to go. Like, but I mean, in all actuality, it's not too many quarterbacks out there that I would take over him just because of his, winning ways, so to speak. But like I said, the last losses were horrible, and his body language was horrible. And like, now when you lose, the little cliches aren't as cute anymore. To keep the main thing, the main things, and you just flush it and all that and whatever. All the little things, the little one-liners he came up with on the road to that massive contract. Mm-hmm. I feel like I need to see him. I mean, it's going to be like his fifth coordinator, but I need to see him with another coordinator because he only had the same coordinator once, and, we went to the Super Bowl with he had Shane Steichen, 2 times. That's the only time he ever had the same coordinator, in consecutive years. And he was very good, but I don't want to see him with this Brian Johnson again because this dude is horrible, man. Like, I sent y'all the stat from the screen passes. He ran 600 screen passes and netted a whopping minus 26
yards. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course we're going to keep that play. And it works so fine. Like the average, it works. So, I mean, the knee jerk, jump out the window reaction is to get rid of him and, try to find somebody, but that's going to be a monster. I don't think his new contract starts till next year. So I don't know how that's going to work, but like I said, I support the front of the jersey first, followed by the back. Now I think he's going to be okay. I honestly think that within the next month or two, it's going to come out that he's going to get knee surgery because I think the knee was worse than they were letting on because he didn't look good running the ball when he did run it. So I feel like he's going to be better next year, but it's just the supporting cast. What are they going to do with AJ? Was he that much of a distraction that they're going to get rid of him? And, what about the offensive line? Is Kelsey really retiring? And what's going on with, the defense? That's the big question mark right there, the defense. Like, who are they going to get to, to shore up this defense and, at least get it back to respectable? Get somebody in there that can actually tackle. Like, I think we tackled each other more than we tackled Buccaneers on Sunday. That was crazy. Like, on Monday, we tackled each other more than we actually tackled the other team. And I'm not even exaggerating. Like, you look at the highlights, you see Maddox and them flying and grabbing each other. And, the dude just running straight down the field. Not even running hard.
It is the city of brotherly love, though, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It was tush pushing each other.
Okay, so let's get a score. Did we do a score with Tampa Bay and Lions? Let's get a score.
Tampa Bay and the Lions. I got Detroit. I'm gonna say 28 and Tampa Bay 20.
28-20. Ryan, are you ready to give realistic scores, or you're still?
Yeah, I think I can. I think I can settle down a little bit on this one here. I do like Detroit, a team that was 1-6 last year, and turned their season around, and really you saw hope, and they built on that hope for this year, and here they are. Congratulations to a team that hasn't won a playoff game in 32 years, and so it was emotional.
Off the rails again,
and then. They just built on what they built on, Scrap, right? They was 1-6 last year, Campbell. Like Dan. Dan's a good coach.
But he said they have did he say they have a championship culture? I mean, because maybe those words. Because if he said it last year, and then they're looking to, get to the NFC Championship game, you could probably take hope from that.
Well, and that's my point, right? Here's a team that finally you could see that they made good. You see the progression, right? They didn't just settle for, hey, we turned our season around last year. That's good. No, they brought that momentum and built on something special. And now they will most likely, because I've got them beating Tampa Bay too, they'll be in the NFC Championship. So what happens is they win their first playoff game last week against a really good Ram team. I didn't think, you said they struggled, Tom, but I think, that was expected. The Rams are a really good team. I didn't expect.
Whoa. You remember when he said the Rams wasn't a good team?
No. The Rams turned their season around. I said that. I said that and it takes afterwards. McVay turned them around. The Rams are supposed to be rebuilding. I said even that if Dallas was to play them in the playoffs, you know, we would probably we would have lost that game too, but only because that's not the same team we blew out earlier in the year. You know, they really went from being a bad team to a really good team. They were supposed to be a rebuild year, and to McVay's credit, I mean, he turned those boys around, and it was a really good game. They were scoring back and forth last week, and then of course the defenses made adjustments, and it got down to to the wire there. But my point being is that Detroit wins a playoff game, and now they're going to win another playoff game, and then they're going to actually go into an NFC Championship. You see the short window. Once they cracked the door, they was able to go in, and that's what good coaches do. Coaches that hold guys accountable, you know, cut them and smack them in the knees and bite them.
Right.
All that stuff.
We need to score.
I'm sorry. We gotta go. I'm sorry. Okay. Detroit.
I need that, Dana.
I need that. Yeah, I need that. Okay, so here we go. Yeah,
Here we go. No, I like it. I'm sorry.
Did he just start that this year against us?
65-20 Detroit. See, that's because of your fault, Don.
Hey, Rod, did he just start that against us this year?
Huh?
Did he just start that here we go against us? Because that's the first time I heard him do it when we played y'all in Dallas.
Yeah. Here we go. I think here we go started. No, actually, here we go started in the Charger game after the 49er game. That's when we got new life. Here we go.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
In the Charger game after
I didn't hear him do it because we played y'all after y'all played the Chargers, right?
Yeah. No, he was doing a little bit in that game. No, he did it in that the game against the Eagles at home when we was in Philly. Yeah. No, he was here we going then. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't hear any here we go.
I didn't hear any me either. It stood out more.
I swore here we go again. Y'all didn't see the here we go again? You didn't hear it, you could see it. Here we go again. Yeah. That's what we saw.
Hey, listen, James. He said here we go. He said when I was asking for the score, and I didn't want to. I didn't mean to.
No, but you're right, James. You see what I'm saying? I was trying to be very, very sound in my pick and my score, and then he gonna go. Here we go. You see what I'm saying? And then something just got disconfigured up here, and then that was it. So yeah, 65-20 Detroit. Yeah, that's
okay.
it.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Baker Mayfield's gonna do a Baker Mayfield thing in tomorrow's game, and that'll be it. So that's.
I got Detroit winning, but I have them winning 28-24. 28-24.
And I said 28-20, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I said 20. Okay.
Yes, you did. So we both. I have them. The Lions not covering clearly.
Okay. What's the spread in that game?
6 points. 6 points.
Okay.
It was 6.5. It's going down, and of course that's because they want the people that are on the Lions to jump on that. Oh, we can win by a touchdown, but I think it's going to be close. Okay. Last but not least, as far as the games are concerned, Kansas City versus the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo is 2.5-point favorites. Over under is 45.5. Now, keep in mind, the Bills have played. Kansas City and the Bills have played 6 times, right? And the record is 3-3. Now, of course, Mahomes is 3-0 in the playoffs against Buffalo, and they've won 3 times. The Buffalo has beat Kansas City 3 times in the regular season. So the question is, because the Bills have been hot, as we mentioned, the 2 hottest teams leading into the playoffs were the Packers and the Buffalo Bills, right? Buffalo Bills have really been in playoff mode for the last 6 weeks, right? Because remember, Miami had a 3-game lead going into to win the division and lost it, right? Shout out to Corey. They lost that, right? So Buffalo has been, their mindset, win or go home, has been for the last 6 or 7 weeks. I think this is this is the only time. I shouldn't say the only time. This is the best time for Josh Allen to beat Mahomes. Now, granted, last week, Kansas City looked good. Their receivers were actually catching the ball. Travis Kelce, I don't know what's going on. He might have another year left, but for the most part, the drops, the inconsistency, you can see that the age is catching up to him, and he's not that just unstoppable force that he has been and what we've used to being to seeing over the last couple of years. So now, this is the other thing. this is the first time that Patrick Mahomes is playing on the road in the playoffs, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So usually everything goes through Arrowhead. This is now Buffalo. Buffalo, Bills Mafia, people breaking their backs on tables. All of this, you got your, and of course, you know, last week the snow was so bad you could sit anywhere you want. I think they'll probably get that underway, you know, a little bit better this week, hopefully. But it's going to be a situation. It should be a hostile environment for Mahomes to play. And so with their receivers already have problems dropping the ball, this is the best opportunity, because I really think that Kansas City is going to retool. They know that they cannot do less with more, you know, or more with less, rather, as far as the receivers. They need receivers that can actually catch the ball. Rice has a lot of promise, but the other receivers that are just, they have brick hands, they can't catch. They're probably going to need to maybe draft another tight end, you know, another suitable tight end, or trade for someone or draft them. They're going to have to retool, because, yes, Mahomes is getting paid and he's the best quarterback. No question there. But everybody needs help. Everybody needs help. And so the Bills need to maximize this opportunity to beat, number one, beat Mahomes and the Chiefs in the playoffs, and try to advance to an AFC championship game. What do you guys say?
I'll just say quickly, you're right. I do think this is Buffalo's opportunity, you know, to win. Playing at home finally, and Mahomes is still Mahomes, but it's the receivers, right? That's the thing we're concerned with. But you know, Rice had a really good game last week, and maybe because for all intents and purposes, this is still the same receiving core that won last year, right? That won a chip. So maybe they could step up in this situation. But I do like Buffalo at home, because we don't know how Mahomes fares on the road. And he's one of the greats, no doubt about it. Nobody's going to take that away from him. But if I could just push the goalposts back a little bit, I like to see you overcome a tough environment. They haven't beaten Buffalo in Buffalo since 2020, and that's during the pandemic. There was nobody in the stadium. So, you know, that I don't know if you can really count that, right, per se. So I think it's going to be a situation where all eyes are on Mahomes. How can he fare on the road in a tough environment in Buffalo? Cold and stuff doesn't matter, because they're used to that kind of stuff. So I'm not really worried about the weather elements or whatever have you. But I like to see what Mahomes and how he's going to fare in that situation. But I think Buffalo will prevail. I really do. And even though Kansas City should have won the last time they played, right, early this year, if it wasn't for old boy being off sides there, you know, they had the nice little trick play and with Kelsey to Kadarius Toney there for the touchdown on the flip. But you know, I think this is going to be a really good game. I'm really looking forward to this game, because I want to see if Mahomes can play in the elements. And if Mahomes wins this game on the road against Buffalo, that's going to really break Buffalo in a lot of ways, because this is the team that's actually standing in their way and has been for the last few years or so. So now you got him where you want him. Got to take advantage of it. But I do like Buffalo in this game. But I want to see how I like to see how what's his name fare in this situation on the road.
Yeah. I kind of feel the same way. I feel like we talked about the Chiefs earlier this year. Like, you get what you pay for as far as receivers. Like, I don't feel sorry for them. And then this looks a lot like the Andy Reid led Eagle teams, you know, with the good quarterback, the good running back, the good tight end, and just we'll put any wide receivers out there, you know. And that's just what it looks like. Like, we had a good wide receiver once under Andy Reid, and that was T.O. Every other year we had to deal with the James Thrashes and the Todd Pinkston alligator arms of the world. You know, like we had to deal with that, and that was just that's just what it looks like. It looked like he turned. But now what saves them is they do got a top ranked defense. Like, their defense, you know, pretty much shields the offense. And, you know, I guess try to give them short fields. That's what they're gonna have to do to beat Buffalo. They're gonna have to get short fields, because I can't see this Chiefs offense, you know, driving 65 yards every possession to score touchdowns. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah,
because like you said, Rice is good, but what about Tony and who the Valdez Scantling, like these dudes, they would be third receivers on any other team at least.
Sure.
They're at least the number 3 receivers on any other team, if that. Because I think Kadarius Toney is really a special teams player, and Valdez Scantling, he is probably like a third receiver on any team. But what I want to see is the Bills, get over the hump that is the Chiefs. So who knows how Mahomes is going to play on the road, because he looked like Rod a little bit the last couple games of the season when he was just like all disheveled and just going crazy, just walking and swaying his head back and forth like he'd rather be somewhere else. But until otherwise, I don't know, man. It seemed like the Chiefs always had the Bills' number, so I don't know what Andy's going to come up with. Hopefully the mustache is defrost, all thawed out.
Right.
And, I mean, I don't know what's the weather in Buffalo, because I know Philly got a lot of snow, and when I got to work last night, it was no snow in New York. It might have been like a sheet of snow on like some cars, but it was nothing up there. But up down here, we got like a lot of snow.
Degrees.
So I don't.
It's gonna be 20
but I'm talking about the snow, because Kansas City gets cold too. So I want to know about the snow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's any forecast for snow. It looks like it's
okay. So it's a pretty even match as far as the weather goes. So now the teams actually gotta play. So everything points to the Bills winning, but I just I don't know. I don't know. I don't feel good about them winning this game. They should win, but I'm going to reserve. The Bills are going to win this for a later date. I don't know. I kind of feel the same way I feel about the Ravens with this game. I feel like it's a good chance they could lose this game, and they probably will lose it. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this. I think, as we've all kind of echoed, I think that the Bills, given the way that Kansas City has been playing, I really don't believe, although he has years left on his contract, I really don't think Diggs is going to be there next year, right? I think that team, to a degree, they've already said that they're not going to be able to afford Gabe Davis, right? Gabe Davis is not playing. I believe he has a knee injury, so he's not playing. I think that if Diggs leaves, because remember, Josh Allen has that big contract, that big cap hit. So they're going to have to draft well, and they're going to have to surround him with young receivers that can fill out the team based on the cap restrictions that they have. So this is their best opportunity. And this may shut the door on that conversation about, Josh Allen. He'll still be top 5 quarterbacks, right? Because of his skill set. But I think if he doesn't beat Mahomes this year, everything will shift around it being more Burrow and Mahomes, because at least Burrow has beaten Mahomes. So I think things will shift around, and that competition and those type of, battles back and forth, I think if he doesn't win this year, he's kind of removed from that discussion. But let's hear some scores. What do you guys got?
I'm gonna go reasonable right now. I like the. I am gonna go with Buffalo. Gabe Davis. Yeah, I didn't even know he was gonna be out, so that was huge. Yeah, that's a weapon there. But I actually like Buffalo in this game, so I'm gonna take Buffalo. 23. It's gonna be 23-19.
Okay. I'm gonna go against the grain because I know Don's picking Buffalo. I'm gonna pick the Chiefs. I'm going to say 27-24, late field goal.
27-24. Okay, Buckner is going to save the day. Okay, I'm going with Buffalo. And so I think that Buffalo is going to need to not only win, they're going to have a statement win. They're going to have to kind of run it up on them a little bit. So I do anticipate, weather aside, it being a high-scoring game. So I have Buffalo 35, Kansas City Chiefs 24. 35-24 Buffalo. All right.
Okay. Well,
now, Rod, are you okay?
Yeah. I'm good.
All right.
Yeah.
So in the latest in Cowboy news, and we've kind of been sprinkling that throughout the show, we thought that there was going to be, Black Monday or whatever. Usually it's where they start lining up coach firings, right? Or coaching changes and all of that stuff. So given the performance that the Cowboys put out, it was anticipated that Mike McCarthy would be fired. And what would kind of back that up is that I can't remember a time in my life that these type of coaches were available at the same time. You have Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick, John Harbaugh. You have, of course, a lot of, maybe up and coming coaches or offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators that are up and coming that people think, oh man, this is a good offensive mind. This is someone young. This might be the next McVay or Shanahan or LaFleur. This is an opportunity for us to change who we are as a team, offensively, defensively, schematically, analytically you can think of. They have an opportunity to change. And so there was a quiet storm, and we were looking. I was on Twitter. I was trying to see. All right. Looking at the ticker on ESPN and Fox Sports that they were going to say, breaking news, McCarthy's fired. And what happens? Jerry Jones says, in no uncertain terms, we're better together than apart. And so the love affair that Jerry Jones has with his coaches comes from two things. He's comfortable and he can control. So comfort and control, very, very similar to a sleep number bed, right? Comfort and control. You can control the temperature. And this is off the top. I don't have any prepared notes. Like but you can have the comfort of the bed. You can set the temperature. You can set what it does and what it doesn't do. And I think Jerry Jones is very comfortable with coaches that he can control, right? Because when you think about before Mike McCarthy, right? You had what's his name? Jason Garrett. Yep. 8-8 Garrett, right? So he kept him for almost 10 years. And of course, the performances were subpar when you think about it. But maybe there weren't really good coaches available. Or maybe Jerry Jones was not willing to take a chance. But this opportunity, this coaching pool is top notch. When you think about the coaches that are decorated, what they have done at their other stops, Pete Carroll, and yes, maybe age is a factor. But Jerry Jones talks about his mortality at all times, that what he would give and what he wouldn't do to get another championship before his twilight years or before, he is no more. But we find that with him keeping and staying with McCarthy for his 5th year, right? He's not extending him, right? But McCarthy has said that he, as we stated earlier, he feels that he can bring, and the reason he's here is to deliver a championship to the Cowboys. And so when I saw that he didn't get fired, I wondered what Rod would think and what was he thinking about it, because I know he was already somewhat tormented by the output. Yeah, I know, Rod. And so my question to you, Rod, is number one, was it the right decision to keep McCarthy? Number two was, what is your faith in the organization as a whole, as the Cowboys? What is your faith in McCarthy? Is there anything that they can do, given that for the most part, everything is staying put? Maybe you lose your defensive coordinator because it seems like it's all but sure that he's going to get the Seattle head coaching job. What can Dallas do to gain lifelong fans back, such as yourself? What do you say?
Well, Donald, thanks for the setting the table there concerning this topic in this discussion. as you always eloquently do, thanks for hosting and pulling our topics together and really, again, setting the table for us. So, Don, several things here. I'll kind of try to go from the back to the front. You mentioned in terms of pause on that, but as far as the going to the as far as the faith aspect of the fandom, right? Again, I've been a fan since '77. Seen the greats, Dorsett, Staubach, Bob Rooney, Michael Downs, Ron Fellows, these guys coming into the '80s, Danny White, and then we come to the latter years of Tom Landry, and obviously didn't end well 3-13. And then Jimmy comes in and with Jerry, who purchased the team, and then we see success in the early '90s, right? We see a major drop off after that. Dan Gilly, 2 years gone. Him and Troy just couldn't really connect. Troy retires. Dave Campbell comes in. 3 straight years of 5-11 with Dave Campbell. Okay, who was part of our championship defensive coordinators there. So it's kind of love. Jerry loves to love the people inside his organizations, treats everybody like sons, and wanted to give Campbell a chance. So 5-11 and 3 years of that. So finally, after that moribund, putrid performances in 3 consecutive years, you bring in Bill Parcells. Well, you only fly into New Jersey and you literally almost like go to Bill's house and convince him to coach because he didn't want to coach anymore. But Bill needs the money, had a bad divorce, lost a lot of bread. Jerry's got enough money to, hey, I could take care of that for you, but I also need a new stadium. So I need to make a splash because I got to get this stadium built. So I need you to come in. Parcells comes in, takes the Cowboys to 2 playoff games, 2 playoff appearances rather in 3 years. Not bad. Won 10 games with a guy named Quincy Carter, by the way. Okay. Not bad. Bill does do well. Then obviously the Romo gaff there in Seattle, and Bill says, I can't take anymore. My heart can't do it. I'm done. So now here we go. And then you bring in Wade Phillips. You win some games with Wade. Then obviously you had your best season there at Wade with 2007, right? You was 13-3. You were the number 1 seed. You had it all, and the Giants came in there and upset you, and you won and done, right? Under Wade Phillips. Then the next year after that, Phillips coaches really bad. Middle of the season, you're 1-7. He gets fired after getting destroyed by guess who? The Green Bay Packers on a Monday night game, just to moralize the Cowboys. Jerry couldn't take it. That was the only in-season fire that Jerry has ever done in his life as a GM of the Cowboys. Lets him go. Now he's gone. You then upgrade Jason Garrett, who was the offensive coordinator at the time, and you have 10 years of mediocrity with Jason Garrett. You can let Jason Garrett get into the last year of his contract during those 10 years, and then you extended him again. And then here we are. You bring in Mike McCarthy. You only interview one guy other than McCarthy, and that was the coach for the Cincinnati Bengals, Marvin Lewis, okay, which was just to meet the, got to meet the protocols, right? Now it's 2 black coaches you got to interview now, okay? So they really took it to the next level there. That's the reason why Brian Johnson's getting even love right now. No one's going to hire Brian Johnson after what we saw him do in Philly. So to your point, Scrap, I totally agree. But here we are now where you have, as you stated so eloquently, Don, you have some of the, best coaches out there on the market that you can get, legendary coaches that got pedigree, that got cachet. They are the upper level of the ilk of great coaches that we've seen in this game in the past 25 years to 30 years or so, and these guys are proven on many levels. And so here it is, you bring back Mike McCarthy, a guy who won you, as they would like to say, and Jerry wants to sell this to the fan base, 3 straight 12-game winning regular season success, right? No coach has ever had 3 straight years of winning 12 games in a row. That is something to admire. That is something to certainly bring a lot of consideration to bring this man back. And that's what you do. Jimmy's never had 12 straight winning games in a row there for 3 years, Don and Scrap. Neither did Tom Landry, who had 29 consecutive winning seasons and 5 Super Bowl appearances with 2 championships, okay? But you say McCarthy has done something that no coach in Cowboys history has done. He's won 3 straight years, 12 games. So that is your rationale for bringing back a guy who we say had helped Dak have an MVP season. Donald Scrap, I dare to challenge you guys. Go back to the 2021 numbers of Dak Prescott, and what you will find under Kellen Moore, you will see the exact same numbers. Don't you know the numbers that Dak has this year that everyone is raving about? He's second-team All-Pro and was in MVP discussions, and Mike McCarthy did that for Dak. Dak has played his best season ever under Mike McCarthy. That's a lot of crap. That's cap. Because the truth of the matter is he had the same numbers in 2021 under Kellen Moore. You know why Dak was part of this whole MVP talk, guys? You know why? Because Jalen Hurts didn't have a good season. Mahomes had receivers dropping the ball. Burrow gets hurt. Herbert gets hurt. Okay? Old boy in Jacksonville kind of rescinds a little bit, right? There's a little bit of digression there with him in Jacksonville,
Lawrence,
right?
Yep.
Yeah, Lawrence, right? You know what I'm saying? And so your quarterbacks didn't really play well. Like your dynamic quarterbacks didn't really play well. I mean, Lamar Jackson didn't even throw for 4,000 yards. Okay, so so there wasn't even a lot of like really outlandish these numbers that was so ostentatious to say like, wow, this guy's really standing out. That's why Dak looked like an MVP. Because he beat bad teams. He's 10-15 against good teams under McCarthy, right? Teams that end up with a winning record by the end of the year. He's only 10-15. You bring back the mediocrity of a coach who had a team ill-prepared for a playoff game, not a regular season game, a playoff game, and had them look as bad as they look. You, as a 12-year coach, a Super Bowl winning coach, who did not know how to adjust to a middle-of-the-pack defense. Joe Barry came up with a game plan to confuse Dak. 2 high safety, 4 cross. What you going to do, Dak? We're going to see if you can throw inside this zone because you don't know what you're looking at. And Don, you know all the time, when you see that face of Dak with him blowing smoke out of his mouth, when anytime he's breathing out of his mouth, you know that means he doesn't know what he's seeing. And so you bring back this guy, Mike McCarthy. Why? Why? For what reason? But I'm going to tell you why. I said it rhetorically, but watch, I'm going to say this, I'm going to throw it to you, Scrap. Yeah, there you go. That's it right there. He doesn't know what he's looking at. Pressing his helmet all the way into his ear gate until he just smashes his head in it, trying to hear something because he doesn't know what he's seeing. And he doesn't have a coach who could tell him. At least Belichick would have been able to say, hey, Dak, I'm a defensive guru. I can tell you exactly what they're doing. Here's what they're doing, and here's how we're going to counter that, right? Wouldn't that have been nice? Say what you want. Say what you want about Bill Belichick and how he's falling off a cliff in terms of Brady leaving. But one thing Brady took with him, he took with him the mind of Belichick. You know why Brady can read defenses is the way he does? Because there was a man named Bill Belichick that taught him that. You can't be a defensive guru. You know what Mike Shanahan did with one of your guys there, Donald, that's on your staff, who wanted to be an offensive coordinator? Mike Shanahan told him, no, you want to be a good offensive coordinator, you got to learn defense first. Had him coach defense for a long time. Now he's under Kyle. Kyle said, you know what? Okay, now you've earned your stripes. You can go ahead. Yeah, okay, yeah, you can go ahead now. Now you can coach some defense because you now understand offense. Bill Belichick would have been able to show him exactly what he was looking at. Mike McCarthy couldn't do that because you know why? McCarthy has no clue. He has no understanding. But you know why they brought McCarthy back, Donald? For one simple reason. Jerry would rather die and leave this earth than to give another coach credit for winning the Super Bowl. That's exactly why. That's exactly why. He brings McCarthy back because if they happen to win, which they won't, under McCarthy, he can take the credit for it. I kept McCarthy. I believed in him. I brought him back, and he'll get the credit. If you went under Bill Belichick or Jim Harbaugh, who's going to get the credit for that? It's going to be the coach, and he's going to have to relive that all over again. And what he had with Jimmy Johnson, it still burns him that Jimmy gets all the credit for those Super Bowl wins. Even the third one that they wanted to Barry Switzer because it was still Jimmy's team at that time. But that's the purpose and the reason why Jerry brings back Mike McCarthy. And this is what you're selling to the fan base. This is what you got us believing. Oh, we're going to run it back. And you know what I would love to say about Dak? My thinking, you right, Don. Pay him the $65 million. Cripple the team. I don't care. Cripple it. And you know what else is going to happen? Watch what's going to happen. CD's not showing up to camp, buddy. Oh, no. Mark my words. He ain't coming to spring training. He's going to hold out. He's going to want his money now. Pay me now. And I hope he puts the Cowboys in that situation. So that, you got to extend that. You got to extend that. But you know what I would have done? I'd have let him $65 million. I don't care. We would have had no roster this year. We would have won 7 games. And you know what? Money to burn. That's it. Money to burn. And that's what Jerry's got. Because as long as you got endorsements, as long as you have the money that you need to have, as far as putting that star on your helmet, guys, you'll be good to go. And that's what Jerry sells to everybody. And there's some delusional fans that's going to still love the Cowboys, that's still going to go to the games, that's still going to buy their merch, that's still going to support them. They're going to still be delusional, think that every year is a year and that they're going to win the Super Bowl. But not I, say the cat. Not going to beat me. Oh, no. I'm not going in that one game. You will not get my money. I'm not buying no merch. The only thing I'm going to get for the Cowboys, because I'm supporting my brother SKRAPP, and his son who does the hang ups there for the what you call it for the team. That's the only thing I'm gonna support, because that's gonna be money in his pocket and not into Jerry's, and that is it. Nothing else will ever come from me into that household of the Joneses, because you know why? They don't care, and this is what they do to the fan base. But it won't happen to me. Will I be a Cowboy fan? I will be. But you know what, though? I'm not going to be intense about it. I'm not going to sit there and diagnose every game. In fact, I'm going to find stuff to do on a Sunday afternoon. And I'll just catch the game when I catch my score. I'm going to go to 6 or 7 church services on Sunday. And I'm going to be in church all day long on Sunday. And I'll just catch the game when I catch the game. And then I'll say, hey, John, what's going on? What are the Cowboys? That's exactly what's going to happen, because this is a team about mediocrity. You're going to win games in the regular season. That's all you're going to do. But you're not going to win in the playoffs when it counts. So you kept a coach who can win in the regular season, but a coach that can't get you over the hump. Oh, trust me, mark my words. You're going to see more of this travesty come next year for sure. So that's what it's got, So it is. So that's all my take on that, man. That's all I got.
That was good. That was good.
That was really good.
That was good. But I gotta agree with him. I feel like Jerry has a problem, like just giving up football duties and just being an owner. Okay.
Can't do it.
Like it goes back to the draft when with the war room was on his yacht. Like, why do we need to see Jerry sitting on his yacht while they were making picks? Like, it's just
$250 million.
$250 million yacht, by the way. Right? That's $100 million more than what most owners' yachts are. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like he has to be the show. Like, at some point, like what I wish my team would do is bring in a football guy, coach, and let Howie and Jeff stay out of it. Just give him the keys to the kingdom and let him do what he needs to do. They did that once, but they did it with a moron. They did it with Chip Kelly. Let him bring his own groceries, so to speak. He got rid of LaShawn, got rid of Deshaun, got rid of everybody. We traded Shady for a one-hand interception. It was a sweet interception. Kiko Alonso one-handed interception. It was sweet, but we traded a good running back for that. But I feel your pain, Rod, with the I feel, not that my owner is like yours, but I feel your pain, your actual pain. It was coming through my computer. Like, I'm just like, ooh, this guy's really like that last game broke you, man. Like, and I hope
it did. It really did. It really broke me, man. It really, I really began, and I'm saying this in all seriousness, like watching that game and to see what we saw on that Sunday afternoon last week, I said, I can't do it anymore, man. This is really bad. You know what I'm saying? Because you had no regard for your fan base. You had no regard for your organization, no regard for the pride of that team. Like Michael Irvin said, when I got there, I had to hold up the legacy of those that came before me. And he just said, put a championship on the table. And you couldn't even do that. You couldn't even. Where was the pressure at in this game? You were at home with 16 straight winning games. And you mean to tell me you couldn't beat a 7-seed team in Green Bay? You mean you couldn't at least get that done? That you mean that the lights were that big for you, Dak? And Mike McCarthy, that you couldn't even beat a 7-seeded team at home? So to me, that thing was broken. I'm gonna tell you guys, man, enjoy. Love on Lurie. Love on who's your ownership there, fam? Who's the family there? Is it still the York, right? Loved on them, man. You know what I'm saying? Because they ain't dancing, they not puffy, they not dancing all in the videos, and they not, you know what I'm saying, all over the stage, and none of that. You know what I'm saying? Don't take that after the games. None of that. They good. You know what I'm saying?
Even during your games, like whenever something good or bad happens, the first shot we see is the owner's box.
Yeah.
It's right on Jerry. Let's see what Jerry feels about this.
But listen, that's all cap, because Jerry will give you that little old man, you know what I mean? And he spin his chair around.
Well, I'm about to say the other day when he turned around and looked behind him, I said, even he don't know what's going on. But
it means nothing. It means nothing. Because you know why? That's not accountability. That's what everybody in Cowboys Nation is saying. Where's the accountability? You talk about accountability and you running it back. You bringing the same guy back. So what's all those antics in the box up there showing all of your anguish and your reception to what you're seeing, the poor production on the field? What does it mean? Now, Lurie, you saw him sitting there on
I'm about to say, no animation at all.
He was like this. No, you knew. It was like, okay, something going down. Now, I agree that I feel bringing Sirianni back was the best thing to do. Sirianni everybody needs better assistants. Bill Parcells does not win 2 Super Bowls in New York if he doesn't have a Belichick. Now, Belichick learned under the tutelage of Parcells for defense, but he needed him, right? Josh McDaniels played a very critical role in the success that the Patriots had with Tom Brady. You need good assistants, okay, at the end of the day, right? But my thing is, Laurie understood, okay, the only thing Sirianni got to step up now in is managing the team and being a better coach overall, right? Being able to coach guys up. But I don't think he should have lost his job. He was, and I'm glad that they brought him back. But Laurie, you can see, he makes moves. He does things in the middle of the season. Same thing with John Lynch. They make moves in the season. Dallas doesn't do that. Dallas doesn't do that. And that's what they're promising everybody. We're going to be aggressive in free agents this year. And no, you're not. No, you're not. Because watch what's going to happen. After you beat 3 bad teams in the beginning of the season, let Dallas go 4-0 or 3-1 in September. You know what's going to happen, Don? You're going to hear You're going to hear Stephen Jones on 105.3 The Fan. He's going to say, well, we like our guys.
Mm-hmm.
We like our guys. We don't really want to move anything right now. We really like who we have, and we like the chemistry we got after 4 games. Because you know why? They're gonna go right back into that place of mediocrity and safety. You said it, Don. The comfortability. Listen, you're the biggest brand in sports. What do you need to do? It doesn't matter. No other team is going to outshine you. Dallas had over 30 million people that watched that game against Green Bay. But that was one of the highest rated playoff games ever. One of the highest rated. And we watched that performance on the field. Guys, I don't want to monopolize the time because I know I could go all day on this, but that's just what I feel. That's where I'm at, and I'm not happy with this this hire or this
retention of a coach. Now,
retention. There you go.
Okay, so 2 things. Because if people have been watching, Rod has brought up the fact that Brock Purdy, and I like the way you spin it around like Jerry Jones a little bit. Brock Purdy. Rod has been trying to bring up that Brock Purdy is his big payday that will potentially cripple the 49ers is coming soon. And I told him we have some time. Our team is not going to be crippled by a quarterback. We're going to work within the structure to make sure that we can keep the team intact as much as possible so we can win multiple, championships. That is the goal. 2 things that came up that I said trouble. Number 1, CeeDee Lamb's mom has come out and said that she has directly, and so we always say if a family member says something, right, you would take it coming from the horse's mouth, almost coming from that person, but they're not going to directly place it on Twitter or whatever. So CeeDee's mom seems to have come out and said that, pretty much shared the sentiments that Rod just went into about being tired of losing and not, but she attacked directly Dak, was saying that there are people that are working hard to win Super Bowls and just Dak isn't it. Her exact quote was, Dak ain't it. Dak is not it. And so to your point, Rod, CD is looking for his money immediately. He's not waiting. He's going to want his money ASAP. Micah Parsons, who is now mute all of a sudden, he has a podcast and set everything up. And now one of arguably the biggest Cowboy fans, whether you like him or not, Skip Bayless, made comments, which I'm not a fan of Skip Bayless, but I have to agree with him on this because he said, I can't wait to hear from Micah. I'm sure he's going to do a podcast. That's what he does best.
Right.
And so Micah went back and forth. You wanted me on your podcast, or you wanted me on your show every Tuesday, and lashed out at him, and you're a fake fan and all this other stuff. Obviously words we won't use on this show. But that goes to say that there is dysfunction, even more the reason that you should have hired or made it your business to hire more of a disciplinarian as a coach. Yeah. Bill Belichick would have shut down.
He had to shake something up, and he didn't. He had to let him show that he actually was going to make a change, and he didn't. Like he dropped the ball.
So what's going to happen is they're going to be forced into making bad decisions, overpaying for a quarterback, which you were almost forced to do anyway, right? And then if my mom says that the person that you're paying $60 million is the reason why we're not going, so what makes you think? And I played my part, and I had the best statistical season of any 88 that's ever, and we think about the 88s that have played for the Cowboys, I want my money. I'm not waiting. It's my money, and JG Wentworth.
Absolutely.
It's my money, and I want
and
it now.
I want it now.
He's not going to wait. So now you have a potential overpaying for the quarterback position, a holdout. And so what do you think that's going to do to the locker room? Yeah. People are going to be splintered. Not to mention the fact that you have aging players, the Zach Martins and Tyron Smith and these players
he's
a
free agent this year too. Yeah.
So I say this, and it pains me a little bit to say this. The Cowboys are in a world of hurt. Yeah, you guys are in a world of hurt. That loss and I think the loss is one thing, but the fact that you did nothing to show your fan base, players in that locker room that you mean business with all of these great coaches and opportunities, I think it's going to have a mushroom effect. It's going to splinter that locker room. And then next year, where we find ourselves in maybe the same position or worse, and I anticipate worse. I don't think your record is going to be as good as it is.
No, I don't believe it.
Have the opportunity to number next year. I think that Jerry Jones is going to have to make that tough decision, or things are going to go haywire. So
you're right, and I hope it blows up in their face, Don. I hope everything comes crumbling down, because I hope Jerry suffers through this ordeal based on this decision that he made, because then you're going to have Micah coming up the year after next, right? Because Dak ain't it. Dak is just like CD Mom said, that he doesn't want to win a ring. That Don said they need to let his A go, but he doesn't want to win a ring. You understand what I'm trying to say? And so, because Dak he's not that quarterback. He's not going to perform when the lights are bright and when it's time to be that quarterback to set yourself apart from what other quarterbacks are doing. Say what you want, but Hurts was in a Super Bowl last year, right? Purdy was in an NFC championship game, right? And Donald, I'm apologize to both you guys, because, as fans, we talk and we say, we throw stuff back at each other. And I hate the Eagles. I hate the 49ers. You know what I'm saying? There's history between our teams, and I hate y'all. I mean, not y'all, but the team, your team and everything like that, or whatever have you. But the thing is, there comes a time, and Sunday's game kind of brought things into perspective. You're right, Donald. Purdy's going to take he's going to get paid. He's going to get the bag, but it's going to be a reasonable bag, right? It's going to be a bag that's going to work within the context, because you know why? Purdy is loving life, right? I got a good organization. I got some good teammates, right? I'm beloved by the fans. All I got to do is keep doing what I'm doing, play at a level, and just get better under Shanahan, right? Because he's going to get better. And you know what? You're right. I wanted to tell you, y'all are going to feel it. Y'all going to have problems. No, not at all. Same thing with you, Scrap. Eagles are going to be fine. It was some implosion in the locker rooms, and obviously the players got through some stuff, and it was more to what my mind was, not the performance on the field, though, yes, players in the secondary and the defense was bad, but this was more about something else that went on. But they'll figure it out, right? They'll figure it out. Sirianni, punchable face and all, but he was in a Super Bowl last year, right? And y'all have won a Super Bowl just recently, okay? So with all due respect, guys, shout out to your teams, your organizations. Listen, just thank God that you are not a fan of a team that has bad ownership and culture like what the Cowboys have in Jerry Jones. So I hope it all blows up in his face. I really do, because they're going to get what they deserve based on the decision that you made, because Jerry is not going to give no one else the credit for winning a Super Bowl. If he don't do it, he's going to die without one, and he would rather do that than to win another championship where another coach would somehow get the credit for that, and he just can't have that. His ego is just too big, and he won't allow for it. So, yeah, it's a good thing, guys. You know what I'm saying? So, that's what we are. And Micah Parsons, you are sucker MC. You are one of the leaderless cats I know. You are not about the real deal in any way, shape, or form. Let me tell you something, bro. You will never be in the same category, the same room, the same space as the Lawrence Taylor. The thing with you, bro, you can't take no criticism. You want to put the star in the helmet. You want to get the bag. You want to do all the things that come with being a Cowboy. And I'm not taking away from his game. He can play. He's one of the top defenders and defensive linemen in the league. He does bring the smoke, but you know what? You don't show up when it counts, bro. You go missing. And don't tell me about being double, triple team. Because Bosa's double, triple team. Reddick is double, triple team. So is what's his name? Hitchison, whatever his name is.
Also Watt.
Hutchinson,
TJ Watt.
Crosby, guys are getting double teamed all the time. So you ain't the only one that's seeing a double team, and they still show up and they still make plays. They still get a thing. I'm gonna send y'all a link, fellas, from a guy named called the Dak Attack on Twitter. He did a whole breakdown of defensive players who made noise in the playoffs, okay? Who did things in the play. From Reddick, he breaks down Bosa. He breaks down Von Miller. Von Miller, I didn't even know he was balling like that in the playoffs, bro. You got to see his records. Even DeMarcus Ware, he goes back. Right now, the dude for Detroit, the DN, he had two sacks against the Rams in his first playoff game. Aiden Hutchinson balled out against the Rams. 2 sacks in that game. Michael Parsons, 1 sack and a half a sack. Not a sack, 1 tackle and a half a tackle against the game.
0 pressures too, right? 0 pressure, right?
No pressures at all. He had 1, but he did force 2 holding penalties, but he did nothing. And don't tell me about the scheme. I know the scheme was bad. I know you should have been dropping back in coverage. That's another thing that the parents and the families are alluding to. Because I don't know if you've been following his brother, Micah's brother, been all up and down Twitter.
No.
Oh, no, his brother's been going in, son. His brother's going in, saying y'all gonna miss him when he's gone. He's gonna be out of there. It's the scheme and all this other stuff. They're blaming all that stuff on him, right? So let me tell you something. What happened to the Eagles over an 8-week span, Dallas did in 1 week. We did all that in one. We just imploded in 1 week. And now everything is coming out the way it is. But Micah, you're supposed to be a leader, bro. How you leave it to your teammates to take those questions after that game? Where was you at? You ain't got nothing to say. You talking smack, and you on your little podcast, and you want. And here's the worst thing you could do. Why are you evaluating players as a player? Nobody does that. They stay away from that stuff, bro, because you still got to play against these cats. You don't sit there and evaluate players and tell them what they not doing and doing or whatever the case may be, and then you didn't show up at all. I'm going to be a history maker. I'm going to be a difference maker. I'm going to be and you did Nathan. You know what I'm saying? So as far as I'm concerned, kick rocks, bro. You're trash as far as your leadership is concerned. Great player, or who will be a great player. To me, you know how I feel about these words, D. You're a good player, but you ain't no LT, bro. You ain't even a DeMarcus Ware. That's not you, bro. You ain't there yet. So you're a good player, but you can't take no smoke. But then you want to be able to receive everything because you didn't tell nobody that you wasn't an LT when they was comparing you to an LT. Now when they start talking about you, now it's something you want to get all sensitive and you want to be all in your feelings and all that stuff, man. Yo, up out of here, man. You a clown, Micah. You a clown. And so is the rest of the Cowboys. You're trash. You're going to be a team that's going to win 10 games next year. And if you happen to sneak into the playoffs, we all know what's going to happen. So you ain't got this one, bro. I'm telling you. Ain't going to change until that leadership in Dallas changes. But when Jerry's no longer there, then maybe we might see something different. But until then, it is what it is, bro. So like I said, man, fellas, enjoy your team. Enjoy your sports. I'm still here, D. I'm still here. We're going to talk about it. But just know, I ain't falling for the okie doke, man. All right? And I ain't wearing no merch. So don't look for no Cowboy merch for the whole season 3 when we come back for the next season, bro. I ain't doing it. It ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? They ain't getting me, bro. That's a travesty what you did, bringing that man back to coach his team again. An innovative cat. Dak Prescott, he had his greatest season. He had the same numbers under Kellen Moore in 2021. Exact. Don't you know he threw 1 more touchdown in 2021 than he did this year?
Look at the vein. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man.
Crap. Only a couple of hundred more yards this year than in 2021. He threw 1 more interception more in 2021 than he did this year. What did McCarthy do for Dak Prescott? And then McCarthy said it with his chest. Yo, we're going to run the ball. We're gonna keep Dak mistake-free, and we're going to rely on the defense. That's what we're going to do. Because Kellen likes to throw the ball all around the yard and score a lot of points. He's just trying to get a job. I've been there. I know what that means. Nah, we're going to keep this thing simple. Brandon Cooks didn't see a ball until week 6. Didn't see a ball. Didn't get a target until week 6. Why did you bring him in if you're not going to use him? You saw the running game was non-existent. Pollard can't run. There was no running game at all. You became one-dimensional by the time the playoffs got here. And you beat bad teams all year long and showed off against bad teams. So what good was your offense? What did you do? You 10-15 against winning teams with Dak Prescott. and Mike McCarthy. So what did you do? That was enough to bring him back because Dak had an MVP kind of season, all because the elite quarterbacks didn't play well this year and guys got hurt. That's all that was. And Mahomes with 45 touchdowns and what's his name in Baltimore would have went crazy, had about 4,500 yards with a 1,000-yard season in rushing. None of that would have mattered. Nobody would have saw your numbers. It would have been the same old stat pad and Dak. Nobody cares. It was only because of the way you did it against bad teams and you was winning at home. You should have lost to Seattle. You should have lost to Detroit. You're not that good of a team. You can't beat nobody but Shanahan tree. You 0-1 against McDaniels. You can't beat LaFleur. You can't beat Shanahan. He's got you 3-0 now. So you can't beat nobody from that tree. Nobody. So what steps did you take? What did you do to become better as a team? Nothing. You did Nathan. And yet you run this back again. Because Jerry wants the credit. And he knows if you get a Belichick or Harbaugh or somebody else in there, they're going to get the credit for the win. And Jerry can't handle that because his ego's too big. But we're going to sell the brand. And everybody's going to make a whole lot of money. And we're going to keep some stars. And that's how we're going to sell it to the fan base. Don't worry. They'll get over it because they love the Cowboys. And that's what it's going to be. And you could the radio stations now, you know what they say? They don't say the home of the Cowboys no more. They say the home of the world champion Texas Rangers. They don't even give Dallas no more love. We're done with them. Wow. Yeah, this is the home of the world champion Texas Rangers, right? We only represent champions around here, not championship cultures, guys that won a city championship or a division championship. We don't celebrate that over here, Mike McCarthy.
No in-season tournament champions. Oh.
Yeah. In-season champs. Yeah, they want to.
No, I just put the Lakers back in. I shouldn't have done that.
It's all right. It's all right. I'm looking forward to seeing my Lakers. I don't care because the Lakers are what they are and they understand that, right? They're not trying to sell nothing that they're not. They know who they are. They're not going to win anything. We know Denver's going to win again. They'll probably play either Boston or Philly in the championship, or maybe Milwaukee. We'll see. But it's all right. I don't mind. It's okay. D, listen, I'm free. D, I'm free. SKRAPP, I'm free. SKRAPP, I feel so free. Don't you know how much
I don't know if you're free. I don't know if you're free.
I promise y'all. Don't let the anticipation. Yo, SKRAPP, I'm free, man. I'm free, man.
You free, meaning you're a free agent fan now? You gonna pick a new team?
No, not a free agent fan.
Come on. Listen. We'll accept you. Niners will accept you with open arms, but you gotta denounce. You gotta denounce. You gotta denounce all Cowboy affiliation.
Yeah,
and we'll take you on.
Like Akeem did on the train to get Lisa on Coming to America. I renounce my throne. I am no longer the prince of Zamunda.
Oh, right. If you do that now, we'll take you on. No problem.
No, I mean, you know what, guys? I don't know. You know what? That actually might sound entertaining. Maybe I'll give it some thought. We'll see. Because I'm telling you, man, Dallas is for me the Cowboy fan. If you're a real one, not the stupid clowns on Twitter I'm arguing with half the time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
No fans, dummies, don't know nothing, man. I can't stand, especially these younger ones. They just we gotta give him a chance. You give Dak a chance. Why you getting so emotional from the loss?
But listen, Jerry is catering to that fan base, right?
Yes.
So I mean, really, based on what you said about him worrying about the bottom line and continuing to market, he's a marketing genius. He's not really concerned. The people he has, the diehards are too diehard to now jump ship, right? Realistically speaking, if we came onto the show and next week you had on a Chicago Bears jersey because Caleb Williams is going there, that's not you, right? Or whatever team, right? You decided, hey, this is a good team. I see the potential in it. I'm going to start off. They have you already. At the end of the day, that's why love and hate is so close, right? The emotions. Obviously, you hate the fact that your team is not making the proper adjustments, but at the same time, you still love them because you have the memories of success and the fact that you see the potential that if they only made a few adjustments, what they could actually, reach. So they got you. Jerry Jones got you. He is reaching out to the more casual fans that are enamored with the star. And maybe, flashes in the pan and some regular season success. Everybody grounded knows that, okay, that's good. You need that to get to the postseason. But once you get there, the postseason is what matters, right? That's where you become a name, a household name.
Right.
You know, so I understand it's going to take a while. You know, probably, let me tell you, it will get easier. It will get easier after the Super Bowl. Now, when the Niners are hoisting the trophy, I think the pain is still going to be high, but I think it will get easier and the pain will subside.
Yeah, I'm gonna fight my hardest not to rescind back into those emotions. I promise you, I'm gonna fight hard, not to go back there. I don't care the draft. I don't care what happens come the beginning of the season, preseason. I don't care what promising look. It's all about week 18, and that's where we're gonna see what Dallas is made of, and they will be who they are, especially with Dak Prescott as your quarterback. Because he's not going to be any better. So I'm going to fight against that. I'm going to fight against that resurgence and that feeling to say, you know what, maybe this year could be different. Not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to glean from you guys, right? Because you guys have been in NFC championships. You know, Scrap, you was in the Super Bowl last year, right? That was a good feeling, right? Didn't you feel good about that? You know what I'm saying? You felt good and you was in the Super Bowl, right? And I mean, I don't know what that, I mean, I know what it feels like because I watched my Cowboys in the 90s. But I'm saying in the last 29 years, I don't know what that feels like. I don't know what it means to get out of a divisional round. I don't know. You know, Don, you was in a Super Bowl a couple of years ago. You was in NFC championship last year. You know what I'm saying? You know, you haven't won since 94 championship, right? But you've been in a couple of Super Bowls. And I used to rag you about that.
So when I said it is better to have loved than have lost than not to have loved at all, someone was
the words of Khalil Houdini, right? That's the you know, that's the wisdom right there, right? And you're right. So I'm sorry, Don. I apologize. That's, you know what, while we're in this counseling session, forgive me, brothers. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, Scrap. I'm sorry for all the bad things I said about Philly, all the bad things that I said about, you know, your poor defense and Bradbury and that. I mean, you can go back into the takes, man. I was coming at you hard, bro. And I just want to ask
you didn't lie. You didn't lie, so.
Well, no, I mean, I didn't lie, but there was a braggadocious kind of thing though to what I was saying. You know what I mean? Because I just wanted to just dump down on some Eagle fans and make y'all
punch down. You wanted to punch down.
Yeah, I want to punch down, man. You know what? And I'm sorry, man. I apologize. I really do. I apologize, man. I'm sorry.
Apology accepted.
Yeah, apology accepted.
Yeah, no. It's all good, man. It's all love here at the end of the day.
It's all good.
Before we wrap up, Scrap. So is it confirmed that Sirianni is going to stay as the coach?
Yeah.
I heard he had an interview with
right. That's last I heard that they were going to
ago. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they gave him the same thing they gave Doug in the interview. Look, we're going to do it this way. Can you do it this way? If not, goodbye. Because Doug was like, no, I can't do it that way. Because Doug looked foolish because he came out and said that, you know, he was keeping all of his coordinators and he's bringing all his guys back. And then, like, as soon as the press conference was over, all his coordinators were fired. So I don't know if it's going to be a Nick where it's going to, you know, save myself. Yeah, fire all those guys. Yeah, they sucked anyway. Mm-hmm. Let's build this your way. You know, I don't know if he's going to conform, and because, you know, he could easily lose his job, even like I said, even though the collapse was so bad that it just overshadows the Super Bowl appearance last year and you know, him not missing the playoffs since he's been there. That collapse was horrible. Like, I ran out of defenses for us, and y'all know I got a defense for everything. You know, I just ran out of, you know, I had nothing. By the time week 18 came and the playoffs came, I had nothing at all. So
if you had your choice, right, with the coaches that are available, who would you want to be the next head coach of the Eagles?
If Sirianni's going,
yeah.
I'm leaning towards. I think I'm intrigued by Vrabel.
Yeah, we didn't even mention him. He's a good coach too.
I think. I mean, I know you got Belichick out there, and you got you know, Pete Carroll out there, but keep Pete Carroll staying with the Seahawks as far as I know, but just not as the. He
coach. Said as an advisor, but I think he wants to coach again.
Yeah, he definitely wants to coach. But I mean, if I had to pick one, I would probably pick Vrabel. Because he's more defensive minded, and I don't know. He just seems like a no crap type of guy, you know. Like you're not going to you know, strong arm him into doing things your way. You see what I'm saying? So if I had to pick somebody, it would be Mike Vrabel.
And not even over Harbaugh.
Yes, even over Harbaugh.
Wow.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, I would go with Vrabel. Yeah, I would
Really?
go. But I mean, he already, he has ties. He's already him and remember last year when they were going to trade AJ. He said, over my dead body, we're going to trade AJ, and we traded AJ, and his body's not dead. So
Right.
yeah, yeah, they have like a real connection. Maybe he can get AJ back, his feet back on the ground, and in the right headspace. Because I mean, all of that's going to play into each other. So we're going to see because all the players were saying the right things when they, was getting asked, should Sirianni get fired? Fletcher Cox told him, clown. He said, man, you're a clown, man. Why would you ask me that? It's not his fault.
Yeah.
But what do you expect him to say, right? You know what I mean?
I mean, but then again, at that time of year when the season's over, and you pretty much, your word is pretty much what the ownership is going to go off of, your perception of this guy leaving. If somebody say
behind the scenes is a whole nother thing. To the press, if they ask him, he might be like, maybe we need to change. But to the press, it's always because you don't know if that's going to be your head coach next year, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you wouldn't be like, he's he was terrible. He was over his skis or whatever. You would just kind of do the PC answer, right? Why you even ask that? That's absurd. Like whatever. Like you a clown. But behind the scenes, other things might be said. Well, time will tell.
You got to think about the OC though. I think right with the Eagles. I mean, at the end of the day, whether you have, let's just say, a Vrabel, or if you keep in Sirianni or whoever, right? Like you got to think about like who can you get as an OC, because that's really where the crux of the Eagles is.
Well,
defense too.
Defense. Yeah.
Like, who would you?
I think that offensive. I think Frank Reich, of course, that's the first name that's going to come up because he was, the Eagles, offensive coordinator. So, like, I saw his name already, like, being mentioned. But as far as defensive coordinators go, I don't know. Oh, you know what? They did say, I heard Eric Bieniemy's name mentioned in the offensive coordinator talk also. So, I don't know if he's out in Washington, what's going to happen with him. But
it's unbelievable that he doesn't get at least
a head coach,
shot.
at least
give him a shot.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, he can't be no worse than anybody else.
Right, but exactly.
Yeah. Defensive coordinators. I don't know. That's wide open. Like, I don't know what. Let me see. Schwartz. He's the Browns coach, right? Jim Schwartz.
Yeah.
He can scheme stuff up.
He normally fails as a coach, but does good as a coordinator. But he had a good season as a coach, so. Right. Yeah, I don't really know.
He had a little noise in Detroit, a little bit.
Yeah, he had them playing for a season or two. They were kind of good,
respectable, kind of. Yeah.
Just one more thing. Shout outs to Antonio Pierce. He got the head coaching position. That was great. The Raiders did the right thing, So ultimately, that's when your team, your players, your main players, star players speak up. The way they did, Crosby said, trade me. If he doesn't get the position, then I'm looking to get traded. Now, that's putting your money where your mouth is.
Yes.
Devontae bought into his style of coaching. Remember, they ended 5-4, 3-1 in the AFC West. That says a lot.
And you know what else, D? They have the number one defense since he took over in the league. Wow. I didn't know that. They're the number one for the duration that he took over, not obviously for the year, but for that time period. So that's impressive, I thought. So
great job. They did the right thing. Raider fan base, you got something to look forward to. Hopefully, maybe they turn the corner, and have get back to their winning ways.
Who's the guy? What's the rapper? I can't think of his name. I'm doing a brain fart. A man from Onyx.
Sticky Fingers?
Is it Sticky? Yeah, look like
Fredro Starr.
No, Fredro. No, not Fredro. Sticky.
He looked like Sticky. Antonio Pierce, he looked like Sticky Fingers.
Yeah, that's Sticky.
A steroid is Sticky Fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely, man.
So listen, fellas, great show. Shout outs to Kingdom Creative for the production.
While we doing shout outs, can I give a shout out?
Absolutely.
While we doing shout outs, I sent y'all the picture, but I gotta shout him out. My guy, Rookie of the Week, Adam Bud Clark. My youngin'. Doing this thing up in Merrimack.
Oh, awesome.
The kid, I was watching the game. They played Wagner last night. They lost the game, but, the commentators were talking about him. They said so far all the coaches that get their take on him say that he's really, really polished to be a freshman. Like he plays years above, years ahead of where he is, where he should be. Like, like I said, ever since I first laid eyes on this kid, you just knew he was going to be different. And I just got to shout him out because I saw the thing and I was like, absolutely, of course he's rookie of the week. I'm surprised he don't have more of them, but they'll come. The accolades will come. The kid's work ethic is just crazy. Like he has this thing with him where he's never happy. With where he is, he's never happy. Like I think you can actually put this kid on like a deserted island and he'll be fine as long as he got a basketball and a gym. He's one of those type of
that's what's up.
dogs. He's one of those type of dogs, man. I mean, the kid is unbelievable, man. Yeah, he's unbelievable, man. Like the kid, it's funny because, me and his dad talk a lot. And a couple years ago, his dad was really upset because like, a lot of the parents from CPN, the league, like they used to not like Adam to the point where they actually hated him. And he's like, I don't understand how people can hate a child. I said, but B, you got to look at it like this. How would you feel about a kid that makes your child, your pride and joy, look like an absolute idiot on the basketball court when you thought he was this, and then this kid shows you that he's clearly not that he's actually this? I mean, it's only natural for somebody to, feel hatred because of what, their child looks like compared to this kid. I mean, it's not a reason to hate a kid ever, but as a basketball parent, I understand where they're coming from. I just, hate is such a strong word, but that kid's been breaking hearts and just scaring. I told his dad, he actually puts the fear of God in the kids. Like when he, coming up, I could tell y'all so many stories about just kids just absolutely just crapping themselves when they see this kid come walking up. Like,
wow.
But shout out, Bud, nephew, keep doing it. Keep proving us right. I told him that. You don't got to prove nobody wrong because every level you play at, there are going to be doubters. You don't have to prove them wrong. Just keep proving us right. That's all you got to do.
Absolutely, man. Shout outs to him. Great job, man. Keep up the good work.
Shout out. That's what's
Keep
up.
up the good work. Yeah. Shout outs to Infinite Audio for the music. All original tracks.
Yeah.
Listen, great music. And I can't say this enough.
Excuse me.
DeMarvelous hooks us up with some choice tracks. We get access to his catalog, and I joke around a lot and say that he sends to NBA TV and some of the other places, NBA TV, ESPN, Fox Sports 1, Netflix, movies, all of them. He sends whatever we don't want. He like, yo, listen, D, y'all rock out, take what you want. Right. And I'll send those guys what you don't want. So
I send them your leftovers.
We appreciate him giving us access to his fantastic catalog. So that's once again Infinite Audio. But Rod, Scrap, thank you so much for joining us. Everyone that joined us, all of the people that made comments, of course, our UK affiliate, James in the house.
James in the building, man.
We appreciate it, man. We appreciate it. WP, sorry about that. All of the people that made comments, we appreciate it. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, go Niners. Peace.
Go Niners.
I'm not saying go Niners.
Oh, look, I love it. It's a party. It's going to be a party.
You got the camera. Let's go.
Oh, that's my new iPad. Oh, that's my new iPad. I gotta.
Listen, it's Android. It's Android. I don't want to hear all this. It's Android.